Okay. This is the Vinyl Luxe Dazzling Dance in hash 179, which is very sparkly. Sparkly, sparkly. The way that Vinyl Luxe works, you paint your nails, your bare nails. So my nails have been prepped and filed and cleaned up. So I don't use any Scrub Fresh. I just clearly wipe off with an acetone-based nail polish remover. As you can see, it does do some damage to my nails. My nails look a little bit dry. You can apply a base coat at this point. There is a Jerome base coat that's pretty good. Alright. And then you just paint it pretty much slapped on nail. This is a very sheer polish. I just thought I'd suss it out since it's one of the ones that came out with the Christmas holiday collection. Sort of cute and lilac-y and sparkly, and given that it is summer in the southern hemisphere, I thought it would be a fun polish to wear that would catch the light. So I thought, why not slap the damn thing on and see what happens. So you don't have to be super precise, even though I've been painting my nails for years and try and avoid any cuticle drag. And for all the nail techs out there, they're probably cursing at the application here, but I don't profess to be some nail manicure expert. So I think this might be a 3-coater, but we'll see if it is. It could be a 2-coater if I'm lucky. Now when I paint my nails when they're not being filmed, I do paint them on my knees, which makes me sound like a crazy person. But I find I have a lot more control that way and I can see what I'm doing. But also I usually paint it in dim lighting, not this sort of super white lighting that we've got going on here. Apologise for any cross shadows that we are going to see, which you will see, Stuart, when you have a look here. Because this hand applies shadow to that hand. So every time I pick up the polish, I always drag a little bit off the edge of the brush so that I don't end up with a goopy blob of polish on my nail. Okay, and then we are at the point now with our ready for the second coat. Find that with Vinyl Luxe you can very quickly apply the second coat. Some nail polishes should actually let it dry or can get bubbles through it, which is the acetone and other chemicals sort of trying to evaporate off, and you've trapped them in the next layer of polish. Let me just clean up that edge. I haven't quite decided whether there's going to be 3 coats on this one. Starting to look half decent in the 2 coats. Vara Shimmery. This would make an excellent top coat over a dark colour. Like a purple. Would it be awesome over purple? I might try that out next time. I also filed my nails shorter thinking that maybe I would go dark, but then I saw this and I don't think this would look that nice with really strong, long, scary nails. Plus I have been a bit remiss with my nail maintenance, so I had to take them down just a tiny bit shorter. Maybe it's time to eat the hair, skin and nails a bit more regularly. It was one for 2015 on the list. Oh, I quite like the look of that. Alrighty, down to second coat on second hand. This is where I start to look shaky, being a right-handed person. If I'm painting the left hand, it's always easier. As you can see, the reason why there's paper on the table is because I'm flicking little tiny bits of nail polish off. Sometimes I put paper towel down, and other times I'll just do it on my leg, because you can always clean it up with nail polish remover later, rather than ruining the varnish on your table. This is a fairly decent polish. It's not streaky at all. I'm going to just have a quick perv at that. I think that the 2 coats might be enough. This is me perving at my own hands to work out whether that's enough for 2 coats. I will try a 3rd coat. Let's see what happens. See if it actually increases the opacity. Yeah, why not? Let's go 3. We're here now. I find with the Vinyl Luxe formula that the 3 doesn't matter, because given that you haven't applied a base coat, because you don't need one, that 3 coats doesn't really feel thick on the nail. It doesn't look goopy when you apply it. It just applies quite thin. Some of the sheerer colours like this one do, I think, benefit of having a 3rd coat. And the wear time, if you are careful with your top coat application, you can get a week. I'm pretty rough with my hands, so anything beyond 5 days is good for me. And the other side to the Vinyl Luxe, which is cool, is that it dries completely through within 9 minutes, which is excellent. You can go to sleep and not have a quilt pattern on your nails the following morning. Which drives me nuts. Or occasionally I will end up with my hair with nail polish in it where I've fallen asleep on my hand. And I hate that. First world problems. Now, given that this will dry itself in 9 minutes, I still spray a quick dry thing over this just because I'm a die-hard nail person. Plus I think it's doing good to my cuticles, even though it's probably a gimmick. Right, so that's 3 coats of colour, and quite like it, not bad. After the Vinyl Luxe top coat, this is the weekly top coat. It gets harder in the sun, according to them, similar to how their shellac works with their UV light. This does the same, but with natural light. I'm getting towards the end of this one, and as you can see, it's starting to get thick, the top coat. We've all been there with our top coats. I actually quite like it when it gets a little bit thicker. It makes it a little bit easier to ensure you've got it all over the edge of the nail. The really liquid formulas slip around and I feel like you can miss bits. I quite like the slightly thicker. Not when it's too thick that it leaves little strings, little hangers that fine threads and spider webs, which gross me out a little. And then, as you can see, it's quite easy to get all over the nail. It's quite quick to apply. I make sure, like, I'm not capping the nail, but I'm making sure I go over the edge. Sometimes I cap it, but I find that sometimes if you cap it too much, that will wear off and it will take off the edge and you end up with chips. So whatever works for you, if you're not as rough as I am with your hands, capping the free edge is probably a good idea. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's running the brush over the edge like this. So you don't have to Google what the hell I've just said. The other nice thing about this top coat is it really brings out the sparkles in a shimmery polish, as most top coats do. And so it looks really sparkly. It's very pretty. It's pretty. I'm going to end up looking at it when I'm out in daylight. Obviously I'm not in daylight at the moment, but I usually paint my nails outdoors. yes, making sure I've got a good coverage of the top coat. I have a bad feeling that I've moved out of shot. But we're about to find out. So there we go. 3 coats of colour, 1 coat of top coat. And we have a tiny bit of fluff that I will worry about later, but that is our sparkly, sparkly Vinyl Luxe. Very quickly done.